everyone, we have successfully completed unit number 2, that is computer networks, and I hope you have revised it thoroughly. Step by step, we are moving closer to your board exams, and trust me, you are doing great. Now, in today's video, we are gonna revise unit number 3, that is database management. We will go through all the important topics. And as always, if you wish to go through any topic in detail, feel free to explore these playlists available in both Hindi and English. You will find clear explanations, examples and practice questions for every topic. Alright then, let's get started. We understood when we want to store data permanently, we use file. But file is not efficient. We cannot perform many operations on it. Then for that we will be using database. Then what's the database? It is also used to store data together. With database we can organize the data efficiently and we can protect it also. We understood what is database. Database is nothing but collection of data. Then what is database management system? It is a software. With the help of that software we will be storing our data. And here are some of the example. In this we will be studying this software MySQL. There is one more term, that is Relational Database Management System. In short, we call it as a RDBMS. We know database management system is nothing but software. Then what is Relational Database Management System? In this software, the data will be stored in the form of tables. So relation is nothing but table. Look at the simple table items in which we are storing the details of the item. We have column, item number, item name and price. Column is also called as field, but we will keep this word in mind for column. It is nothing but attribute. So all these three terms means the same. Regarding that only there is one more term, that is nothing but degree. Degree is number of columns. In this table there are total 3 columns, that's why degree is 3. Now let's check out the different terms for the row. We can call it as a row or even we can call it as a record. And here is the term for the row or record. It is nothing but tuple. As we are discussing about row, one more term we should keep in mind, that is cardinality. Cardinality is nothing but number of rows. So relate this car word with the row. Look at the table, there are total 3 rows, that's why cardinality is 3. So make a note of it. You may get question in the board exam where you will be given one table and you need to find out the degree and the cardinality of the table. Cardinality is number of rows and degree is number of columns. Then what's the meaning of this term domain? Domain is nothing but set of data or set of values which are allowed to be written into that column. Look at this column, item name. Here only string values can be written. We cannot write here numbers. So what are the permissible value? String values for this column. In the same way for price we will have float or integer. If we consider item number we will have integer, or if you want to allow string values like this, that is also fine. In this way we studied what is tuple, what is attribute, what is domain, degree and cardinality. Keep these 5 terms in mind. When we store data in table, this is also one of the important concept. It is nothing but key. Key will be one or more attribute. We know attribute means column. What is the use of key? To uniquely identify a record. Consider this table. This is the data of a student. If you want the data of a particular student, then roll number will work as a primary key. With the help of roll number, we can access this whole record because generally roll number will be unique. This may happen in some tables that one column is not sufficient. Then we can take the combination of 2 columns to become a key. In that case, we call it as a composite key. There are some more types of key. It is called as candidate key and the alternate key. For every table, we design primary key. The key which are eligible to become a primary key is called as candidate key. Then what is the alternate key? Let's imagine there are 2-3 candidates key which can be primary key, but one of them become the primary key, then the remaining will be called as the alternate key which couldn't be the primary key. You can easily understand this concept with simple example. Imagine there is an election in college for some student union. There are 3 candidates which are eligible to become a union leader. But out of that only one will become the union leader. The rest of the students will not. but all three students were the candidates for the election. It means it is a candidate key. But one of them only became the union leader. Now out of that 3, 2 and 3 student will be called as alternate key. Hope you understood this concept. Sometimes it is not worth storing the data in one table. In that case, we need more than one table. Consider this example. We are storing students' personal data in one table and academics data in another table. If you want to extract data from both the table, there should be relation between them. To maintain the relationship only, we use foreign key. What exactly we do? We maintain one common column in both the table. In this way, we got the general idea what is relation. It is nothing but table. What is row, what is column, and what are the different types of keys. Now let's study one of the relational database management system. It is developed by Michael Widenius and My is the name of his daughter. Even in this logo, dolphin has name, Sakila. Quite interesting. Alright, now the data is stored in the database. That data we need to organize. For that we need to give the instructions. We know to give the instruction we should know the common language to communicate. So this language is nothing but structure query language. And that structure query language is divided into 3 categories: DDL, DML and TCL. DDL means data definition language. For manipulation we will be using DML, and here are some transaction control language. We will be focusing more on these two. Alright, out of DDL we have to study these 3 commands: create, alter, drop. Let's remember these 3 commands are DDL commands because we generally get question on it. So if you get the question what are the DDL commands, we can write it: create, alter, drop. And here are 3 DML commands we need to keep in mind: update, insert, delete. For that also let's create one mnemonic: UID. In this way we can keep in mind DML commands too: update, insert and delete. There are 3 TCL commands too, but we are not concentrating much on it. According to your portion, this is not important. If we need, we will get into it. Alright, when we create any table while storing data, we can apply some rules on it. That rules are nothing but constraints. We can apply rules on specific column as well as on whole table. Here are the 5 types of constant: unique, primary key, default, check constant and foreign key constant. Let's try to understand the first constant. With that constant, we make sure that no 2 rows will have the same value. Look at this table. This is also 0, 3 and here is also 0, 3. So this is not applicable. Moving ahead to the most important constraint, that is primary key constraint. If we apply primary key constraint on any column, it means what? It will not allow duplicates as well as it will not allow null values. Null means you cannot keep that column entry as empty, and duplicates means 2 columns should not have the same entry. Before proceeding, let's understand the difference between primary key constraint and unique key constraint. Primary key constraint doesn't allow null as well as it doesn't allow duplicates, and only one primary key should be there in a table. Whereas in case of unique key constraint, it allows null values but it doesn't allow duplicates. And there can be more than unique key constraint in the table. This question is also important. Make sure you know the difference. Moving ahead to the third, that is default constraint. The way we have default parameter in the function, same way it works. If you don't provide any value for the column, default value will get considered. The fourth constraint is check constraint. If you want to insert data into the table based on some criteria, then we can apply the check constraint. Look at this table. On the age column, we are applying check constraint. If the data satisfies this condition, then only you can insert the data into the table, otherwise not. And the last constraint is foreign key constraint. We know it is used to create the relationship between 2 tables. So here is the common column for that. To create this relationship, in this table we will apply the foreign key constant. This employee ID refers the employee ID of the EMP table. Alright, we understood what things we need to keep in mind while creating the table. But now we should learn actual commands. So now we will be revising some commands which are applicable on databases as well as on tables. Now you will get confused what is the meaning of database and what is table. Database is a set of tables and table is a combination of row and column. First we need to create one database and inside that we can create as many tables as we want. Let's consider this simple command, show databases. With that we will get the list of databases you have created. But how to create database? For that this is the command, create database, and you will provide the database name. Look at this example, create database student. When you will show, you can see here student database got created. It's empty. I would suggest you to write the commands on the paper and practice. We created one database named student. But before creating the tables inside it, for that you should use this command. By using this command, you are actually entering into the database. So first you need to create database and then use it. If you know how to create it, you should also know how to delete it. For deleting the database, we have drop database command. Drop database and name of the database. In this way, database will get deleted. Alright then, database got created. Now it's time to create table. For creating the table, first we should know what are the data types available in MySQL to be applied on the column. Because while storing the data, we should know what type of data we are going to store in that column. For storing string type, there are two types of data, char and varchar. For integer value, we can use integer. For decimal, we have decimal. For date, we have date data type. And for time, we have time. For storing string data type, we have two types. Then what's the difference between them? Character data type is of fixed length. It provides 0 to 255 range. Whereas varchar is of variable length, and here is the limit for it. When we want to store values of same length, generally we go with character. But if it is of variable length, then we can use varchar. It will be easy with this simple example. Suppose there are two different columns which are storing city. Here we have mentioned character data type, and for this we have taken as varchar. Look at the values, these are also same. The column with the char will use always fixed length. It means it will occupy the 15 bytes of storage, even if you are storing the string of shorter length. But what about varchar? Though the size we have mentioned as 15, it will occupy the length of the string. In some version, it may take 1 or 2 bytes for storing the length too. So here is the difference between char and varchar data type. Alright, now it's time to create table. So here is the query, create table, table name. We need to specify the column name as well as its type. So here is the detail of the first column followed by second and so on. While writing the details of the column, first we need to write the column name followed by the data type. In case of constant, that also we will be mentioning here. Let's take one simple example. We are creating one student personal detail table. The first column is roll number, the second is name, and the third one is date of birth. We have applied primary key constant on the first column. We can also write not null if you don't want to enter any null value to it. And the third is of date type. The roll number is of integer data type. For name we have used varchar 15. It means we can store a string of 15 character, that is the maximum limit. And DOB is of date data type. In this way the table will get created. We studied these 5 types of constraint that we can apply. Here we are applying check constraint. Here it is default constraint. Here is one example of applying table constraint. We know we can apply table constraint as well as column constraint. Alright, now the table is created. If you want to know the details of the table, here is the command desc table name or describe table name. With this you will get the details of all the columns and its data type. Not only that, you will get the details of the constraint. We have show databases command to get the list of databases. In this way we have show tables command. With the help of that you will be getting a list of tables in that particular database. And with the drop table command you can delete the table. With the insert command we created the table, but that table will be empty. Now we need to insert the records into it. For that we will be using insert command. So these 3 DML commands, that is insert, update and delete, we are gonna discuss. From the category of DDL command we already discussed create and drop. But the discussion of alter command is remaining. That also we will do. So look at the syntax of insert command. Insert into table name. We need to mention the list of the columns name that you have created while creating the table. It should be exactly same, but this is nothing but optional. If you are inserting data in all the columns, no need to mention it. Alright, insert into table name, then we need to write this keyword values, and exact values we will be providing in the same sequence of the column name. So the first column is roll number, so we have mentioned roll number. The second is name, so here is the value for the name, and the third is date of birth. Make a note of it, date of birth and time is considered as a string value. So insert into student personal detail values, and here are the data for all three columns. If you don't want to insert data in all the columns, then only the column list you will be mentioning. The null will get inserted into the column for which you will not provide the value. Alright, here is update command. What is the use of it? To modify the existing record. Let's consider this table. For the student roll number 103, null got inserted, that we need to update. So look at the query. Update the name of the table, set date of birth equals to the date of birth what we need to enter, and here is the condition with where clause. Now you will easily understand the syntax. Update table name, set column name. This column name you will have to mention from the table, and what the value you want to set, that you will be writing here along with where condition. Otherwise it will update all the date of birth. So if required, write the condition. If you want to update more than one column, you can do it by separating it with comma. If you will not write condition with the where clause, the updation will happen in all the columns. Now let's consider the third command from the DML category. We studied how to update, how to insert. Now we have to understand how to delete the record from the table. Look at the syntax. Delete from table name, and here is the condition. If you will not write condition, all the records will get deleted and the table will be empty. Delete from student personal. Whereas with condition, the specified row will get deleted. We finish all the commands from the DML, that is U, I and D. And here are the commands of DDL category, C, A and D. We discuss create, we discuss drop. Now it's time to discuss alter table command. Generally with the DML command we can change in the record, but with DDL command we can change the structure. This is very versatile. We can use it to add the column, to modify the column, to change the column name or to drop the column. Let's try to understand in short. With the add clause, what we can do? We can add the column to the existing table. In our student personal table, we are adding one more column, mobile number. So here it will be alter table, the name of the table, add mobile number. We need to mention the data type. If there is some constant, that also we have to mention. There is one more clause we can use with the alter table command, that is modify, to modify the existing column. Here is the syntax. Alter table, table name, modify column name, and we are providing new data type. We added one column to the table. The name of the column was mobile number, but the data type was integer, that we are modifying here. We are giving the data type varchar 10. In the previous query, we only changed the data type, but if you want to change the complete definition with the name, then you can use change clause. So here is the change clause. Old name, then new name and column definition. Look at the query. What we are doing? We are changing this MOBNO column name to mobile number, and here is the data type. So the query will be alter table student personal, change mobile number, old name, new name along with its data type. There is one more clause we can use with the alter table, that is nothing but drop, to delete the complete column. So alter table, table name, drop column name. If you have some constant, that also we can mention. Look at the query. Alter table student personal, drop mobile number. The column will get deleted. Alright, we created the table. We inserted data into it. But the important operation is nothing but to display the data. For that we will be using select command. It is very versatile and all-rounder. There are lot of options associated with it. So look at the query. Select column name, column 2 from table name. You can even give the condition. Here we are displaying only one column, and here we are displaying two columns. If you want to change the order, accordingly you will be mentioning here. We understood how to display one column and more than one column, but if you want to display all the column, write asterisk. This star means we need all the columns. Look at the table, we got all the columns from the employee table. There is one more clause you can apply here in front of the column name, that is distinct. It will not give us the duplicate values. So look at the cities, there are some duplicate values, but look at the distinct cities, we got only unique values. Now let's understand how to write the where clause. This is very important if you want the selected data. For writing condition with the where clause, we can use these relational operators. These four operators are same, only make a note of it of equal to and not equal to symbol. So let's try one. We want all the columns but for city Bangalore. So we are writing select star from table name where city equals to Bangalore. Look at the record, only those records got displayed whose city is Bangalore. Along with relational operators, we can also use logical operators. We know what is the use of logical operators, to combine two or more relational expressions. Here also we can combine two or more conditions. Let's take an example. We need to display all the records of the employee, but here is the condition. City should be Bangalore or Nagpur. So look at the output here. We have only those records having city as Bangalore or Nagpur. OR operator can be written as two vertical bars. The way you have used OR, you can use and also. In this both the conditions should get satisfied, then only that record will get displayed. And here is the third logical operator, not. It will negate it. City should not be Nagpur. So look at the records. There are some more operators which we can use with the select command. One of them is between. It is used for giving the range between this value and this value. So look at one simple query. We need to display the records of the employee where employee ID is between 101 to 104. So we need to write between and operator together. It creates the range. The reverse of it is not between. It will negate the value. There is one more operator in. In operator will check the values which is provided in the list of the values. If it is present, then only we will get that record. So look at one simple example where city in, it is mentioned in the form of list. So if it is in the list, then only we will get it. The reverse of in is not in. So we studied two operators. One is between, the second one is in. There is one more operator like for pattern matching. If you want to display the records based on some pattern, for that there are two more operators which we will be using with like operator. First is %, which matches one or more character, and the second one is underscore. It matches only single character. So look at some example. JA% means it will display all those names which are starting with JA. The remaining characters can be anything. You can use this operator more than once. Whereas in case of underscore, it will match only one character. If it is mentioned T-A, it means only we will get this type of string. Only one character it will get matched. Wherever you want and how many you want, you can apply these operators. Here is the syntax where column name like pattern. So for designing pattern, use % or underscore. Let's consider one example. We want to print the employee names which are starting with Y. So Y%. Look at the output. This select command is very powerful and used in a different way. Even if you want to perform some calculation without the use of table, you can do it. Look at this example. Select 2 plus 3. We got the answer as 5. Here we did not use any table. But still, if you want to use the table, you can make use of dual table. Dual table is a dummy table with one row and one column. Look at the syntax. Select expression from dual. Same query we are writing with the use of dual table. Please make a note of it. In this we couldn't give any column header. Whatever expression we are mentioning, that will be the column header. But if you want to give the column header, that you can give with the as keyword. It will give alias to the column header. Look at the example. We mentioned as pi. So column header is nothing but pi. We understood how to perform the calculation, but you can perform the calculation on the column. Look at this example. We want to give the bonus, so we are multiplying the salary with some quantity. We wrote the expression, and if you want to give the column header, make use of as clause. Apart from the column header and the values for the column, you can add the text too. Here is the example. This is the column with some values, but we have added one column with some text. that you can add here by writing as a column header. Now proceeding to the next topic and explore some more clause which can be used with select command. If we have null values in the table, that we can print using is null clause with the where clause. Look at the query. Select star from employee where city is null. So we got those records with the city as null value, with the help of which you will come to know which columns are not having exact data. You have is null, in the same way you have is not null. Look at the data of this table. We got those records which are not having city as null values. Now let's try to understand how to arrange the records of the table. We know we can arrange in the ascending order as well as descending order. For that we are using order by clause. By default it will get ordered in the ascending order. If you want to order in the descending, we will be writing DESC. Look at the simple example. Select star from employee, order by e-name. When you will look at the e-name column, this is arranged in the alphabetical order. In the same way, just add DESC clause so that the data will get arranged in the descending order. It is in the descending order of employee ID. So 8 got displayed first, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Based on condition also you can arrange the data. There are some built-in functions which can be used with the select command. String functions, numeric functions and date and time functions. So here is a list of commonly used string functions: concatenate, lower, upper, substring, trim and length. Go through the explanation, you will understand it easily. Here are some of the example. We are using concatenate function on this. So look at the output, it got concatenated. If you want to apply this string function on any column, you can do it. And here is a list of some of the numeric functions. The functions related to date and time is also very important. So here is a list of the functions. I will suggest you to make a note of it. We discussed different operators, clause and functions associated with the select command. Now let's discuss how to use these aggregate functions. It will get applied on a multiple rows, but it will give a single value. The first function is average, then we have count, max, mean and sum. When we apply aggregate function on any column, there are two more clauses. First is distinct and the second one is all. Distinct will not consider duplicate values, whereas all will consider all the values. So here are two examples. By default it will consider all. If you will write distinct, it will not consider duplicate values. In the same way, one more aggregate function is count. This is very important. It will count the number of rows in a given column. Count function can be used in three different ways: count star, count expression and count distinct expression. Count star means we have to consider everything: null values, not null values, even duplicate values. If we write count and then column name or expression, it will not consider null but it will consider duplicates. And if you will use distinct with the expression, it means it will remove the duplicates also. So if we are writing count star, it will consider everything. It means it will consider null, it will consider duplicates. Here is second variation of count, count expression. Look at the example. We are applying count on city. We got the output as 7 because in this case the null entries are not considered. And here is the third variation. We are counting the city with distinct clause. So it will not consider the null as well as it will not consider the duplicate values. That's why the output is 5. To calculate maximum value, we have max function, and to calculate minimum value, we have min function. In this way, to calculate sum, we have sum function. There is one more important clause, that is group by. If you want to group the records based on some criteria, like if you want to consider the group of people based on city, then you can do it. Generally, it is used with aggregate functions. So here is the syntax. We will group by based on certain column. So let's consider this table. We are counting the number of people based on city. So look at the output. Bangalore has 2, Pune has 2, and similarly we are getting the data for the remaining city. If you want to group it on another column, that is up to you. So make sure you are grouping with the aggregate functions. When you are grouping the records, you can have condition with the having clause. Look at this example. We are counting the number of people grouped by salary, but the condition is salary should be greater than 25,000. So we need to count only those people based on the salary whose salary is greater than 25. Look at the data. The salary is greater than or equal to 25, and such people we are counting. Now we are at the last topic of MySQL, but this is also important, that is the join. It is used when we want to retrieve the data from two or more tables. So how the data will get retrieved will based on the types of the join. So here are three types of join: inner join, outer join and cross join. Outer join again divided into two categories: left join and the right join. Apart from this, we have three more joins: equijoin, non-equijoin and natural join. So let's try to revise it in short. First, let's check out what is cross join. Cross join will do the Cartesian product of two or more tables. Hope you know what is Cartesian product. It means it will take all the rows present in the first table multiplied by the rows in the second table. This is how you will be writing. Select column names from table 1, cross join table 2. You will easily understand with this simple example. Let's consider one table A with 3 values 1, 2, 3, and there is one more table B with these 2 values. Now if we do the cross join between these two tables, what are the values you will be getting? First value will get associated with the second value from the second table, and the first value from the first table will get associated with the second value from the second table. In this way for the second value too. Same approach will be followed for the third value. Table A has 3 entries and table B has 2 entries. It means there will be total 6 entries. Look at the output. If we take our table student personal and student academics, after applying the cross join, here is the output. We will get all the rows from both the tables. Cross join is a default join. If you don't write also, it will be cross join. The next is the inner join. It will give only the matching values from both the tables. So from this diagram you will easily understand. How to write it? Select column names from table 1, inner join table 2. And we will be writing on clause followed by the name of the columns which we need to match. We know there are two tables. If you need to extract data from both the table, there should be one common column. We have roll number as a common column. Now look at the query. Select star from student personal, inner join student academics on. This is the common column name we need to write. Student personal dot roll number equals to student academics dot roll number. And look at the data. Only common data we are getting. In this we have common data with the roll number 101 and 102. You can see here we have these roll numbers in the next table also. Hope you understood. Cross join will give the Cartesian product, whereas inner join will give only matching data. Now let's check out what's the outer join will retrieve. There are two types, left outer join and right outer join. To understand this, let's consider this is the left table and here is the right table. In case of left join, all the records will be considered from the left table and only matching records will be considered from the right table. That's why the name is left, because it will take all the records. This is the way you will write. Select column names from table 1, left join table 2 on, and here is the common column. To understand, we are considering the same table. Look at this diagram. All the records from the left table will get considered and only the matching one from the right. Here is the query. Select star from student personal, left join student academics on student personal roll number equals to student academics number. Now look at the records and only the matching record will get considered. So here are the columns from the second table: admission number, roll number, subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3. For these two records we had values, that's why we got it. But what if you don't have the values for that matching record in the second table? Then null will be returned. You might have noticed that 103 roll number is not present in the second table, that is right table. The reverse of it is a right join. It will extract all the data from the right table and only the matching from the left table. Syntax is same, only difference is right join. Let's consider again the same example. Here all the rows from the right table will get considered, only the matching from the left one. And if there is no data for the matching record, null will get considered. So look at the query and look at the output. There are total 4 records in the right table, that's why 4 entries we could see. And if you don't have the data for the matching records, null will get displayed. Hope you understood what is cross join. It gives the Cartesian product. In case of inner join, we get only matching records. Then what about outer join? In case of left outer join, all the records will get considered from the left table and only matching one from the right one. The reverse of it is right join. Here all the records will get considered from the right table, whereas only matching one from the left table. Now it's time to consider remaining types of join, equijoin as well as non-equijoin. Let's try to understand what's the equijoin. Equijoin is a type of inner join. What is inner join? It gives only matching records. Then what's the difference between both of them? Here we are using comparison operator. There we use on clause. So look at the query. Select columns from table 1 comma table 2, where table 1 column name equals to table 2 column name. Based on the common column, we are extracting the record from both the tables. So this is how we write the inner join, but in case of equijoin, we write the query like this. Look at the output, records are exactly same. So from equijoin, it is understood that we are comparing the two common columns and we are using this comparison operator equal to. Whereas in case of non-equijoin, we are using these relational operators. This is how the query will look like. Notice this comparison operator greater than. Hope you got this output. The first record will get checked with all the records from the second table. 101 is not greater than any record. Now the second record will get compared with the roll numbers from the second table. This 102 roll number is greater than 101. So this entry we will get. Again the remaining roll numbers are not greater than 102. Now we will proceed to the third record, that is 103. It is greater than 101. That's why that entry we got. It is also greater than 102. That's why that record also we got. In this way we got the three records. Hope you understood this explanation. Here is the last type of join, that is natural join. What is the working of natural join? It also combines two tables based on the common column. We already saw that inner join as well as equijoin will do this job. It will give only the matching records. Then what's the difference between natural join and these two joins? That we will discuss. First let's check out the query. Select star from table name, natural join table 2. Here we need not specify the column name. It will automatically consider the column with the same name as well as same data type. Look at this query. Select star from student personal, natural join student academics. And look at the data. We got only common columns from both the tables. Now what's the difference? Look at the output of inner join as well as equijoin. And here is the output of the natural join. These two outputs are same. Only the difference in the writing of the query. Natural join also gives the matching record, but the difference is it will display the matching column only once. We know the matching column is roll number, right? So look at the output. Here the roll number is displayed only once, whereas in these the roll number is displayed twice. So that is the difference. Hope you understood. Then let's revise these three joins. In equijoin we got the matching record and we use the comparison operator equal to. In non-equijoin we use these comparison operators greater than, less than, greater than equal to and less than equal to. Natural join also gives the matching record, but the common column will get displayed only once. Hope it is clear to you now. We studied Python and we studied one database, that is nothing but MySQL. But we don't show our database to everybody. That's why through program we manage that database. That only we need to study how to handle databases through Python programming. For that here are the steps. Let's check out one by one. Obviously to write program we need some IDE. So we will start the Python. We are going to connect two different softwares, Python with MySQL. For that we need one connector. The name of the connector is mysql.connector. So with the help of import statement we are going to import this module which will give us different functionality for the connectivity. You can see here this name is little longer and complicated. So to make it simple and small we can give alias to it. Just like MySQL we can give this as keyword. So now the command will look like import MySQL.connector as SQL con. This is nothing but an identifier. We know some modules will be inbuilt, but some we need to install. This MySQL connector also we need to install. That we can do using pip before using it. It's a command to install any module. Alright, let's proceed to the next step. Now we are establishing the connection between MySQL and Python. For that we will be using connect function of this module MySQL.connector. Connect function takes 4 parameters. The first one is host, second one is user, the third is password, and fourth one is the database. We need to just keep in mind host will be localhost and user will be root. These two values will be fixed. But what about the password? This is the password which you have entered while installing MySQL software. No need to worry about these 3 parameters. Generally it will be mentioned in the question. Now let's check out the fourth parameter. It is database. On which database you have to work, that name you will be mentioning here. It is an optional parameter. If you are not working with database, you can skip it. But generally we work with the database because tables will get created in the database itself. So with the connect function, we will be creating one connection object. So this is nothing but an identifier. Let's give some name to it, that is MyDB. With that step, connection got established between Python and MySQL. Now let's move ahead. We need one cursor which will process the records row by row. For that we are going to use cursor function. Obviously this cursor function will work on the connection object. So look at the syntax, connection object dot cursor. It doesn't take any parameter. So with that we are going to create one cursor object. Let's give it a name cursor. Connection got established and we are ready to process the records too. But how we will get the records? For that we will write the query. Hope you remember all the queries. We will be writing query and using execute function we will be executing it. We know that cursor is going to process that records row by row. That's why it works with the cursor object. So look at one simple example. Cursor.execute select star from employee. So after the execution of the query, we will get the result set. It means we will get the records. Now there is a category of fetch function which will decide how many records you want. You want all the records or you want limited records. In that category, the first is fetch all. It will fetch all the records, that too in the form of list of tuples. But if you don't want all the records, there is an option of fetch one. It will only extract or fetch one record, and if there are no records, it will return none. There is one more option with the help of which you can extract some specific number of records. The name is fetch many. You will be providing the parameter n, that is nothing but the number of records. Look at the syntax. This function works with the cursor object. Fetch all, fetch one and fetch many. There is one more property associated with the cursor object, that is called as row count, which will count the number of rows retrieved by the cursor. So this is how it will work. It will give the count of the records. Alright, we know when we establish the connection, we need to close it. For that we will be using close function which works with the connection object. Alright, now let's try to write one program by assembling all the steps together. Here we are writing a program which will show the databases. So the first step is to import MySQL.connector. Second step is to connect. Third step is to create cursor object. These 3 steps will be same. After that, in the fourth step we will execute the query using cursor object, followed by fetching the records. Here we are fetching all the records and printing it. So look at the output. We will get the list of tuples. It is a list of tuples of all the databases because the query is show databases. You might have noticed that the 4 parameter we skipped because we are not working on any specific database. The same concept goes with show tables. Now we cannot skip database because the tables are in the database itself. This query is important. Select query. As we discussed, the first 3 steps will be fixed. Importing module using connect function and creating cursor object. This step is also fixed, executing the query. Here we are displaying all the records from the EMP table. With fetch all we got all the records and one by one we are printing it. Look at the output, we are getting the tuples. If you want to fetch one record, you can use fetch one. If you want specific number of records, that also you can write it. We have mentioned 3, that's why we are getting 3 records. I would suggest to write these steps on paper and practice it. Ultimately, you have to write it in the exam. Now let's check out how to write insert query. These 3 steps are same. Hope you remember the insert query. Insert into table and here are the values. Make a note of it. Inside the query we will be using single quote. That's why when you are writing query, make use of triple quotes. Then there will be no doubt between single quote, double quote and the triple quotes. Otherwise you will get into trouble. So include query in triple quotes and write single quotes inside. Alright, with the insert query we are changing something in the database. So to save that changes permanently we will be using one command, that is nothing but commit. It reflects the changes in the database. It is one of the TCL language. It is nothing but transaction control language. We already discussed 2 types of language, DDL and DML. This is the third one. It works with the database connection object because we are changing into the database. Hope you understood this explanation. You might have noticed we did not use any fetch function. Why? Because with the help of select only you will get some result set, right? Not with the insert command. So whenever there is select, there will be fetch functions. If you feel writing query here with the execute function is getting complicated, you can store it in one variable and then write the name of the variable in the execute function. Because sometimes the query will be too long. Some of the important queries we discussed like select, insert. Now let's discuss update too. These 3 steps are fixed. Here is one update query. Make sure you are enclosing the query in triple quotes. After executing, we are committing it so that the changes will reflect in the database. In the same way, we can write the delete query too. Make sure you know the format of delete query. Don't get confused. We know that these 3 steps are same. Here is the delete query. Delete from student personal where roll number equals to 104. Let's execute this query and commit. Now let's try to understand how to create table, insert records into it and display. So here are the 3 steps. Now let's write the query to create table. Create table product, product ID, product name, price. Let's execute this query. Table got created. It's time to insert data into it. So we are inserting 2 records, not many. This we generally write in the form of loop because many records we need to enter. This is just to understand the concept. Insert into table name, product, values, first value, second value and third value. Now let's write one query with the help of which we can display the records of the table. So here is the select query. Select star from product. We are displaying all the records. With the help of select you get the result set. So whenever there is a select query, then you will be using one of the fetch function to decide how many records you need to fetch. Here we are using fetch all and using for loop we are printing records one by one. Look at the output. We are getting it into the tuples. Here we are using insert command. It means you are changing something into the table. So you should use commit so that the changes will get saved permanently. Finally we will close the connection. Commit and close will work with the connection object, that is nothing but MyDB in our case. You can give any name but try to give meaningful so that you will not get confused. Execute and fetch all function works with the cursor object. We understood that when we want to enter many records, we will be using loop. And to enter records, generally we will input the data because directly we cannot write values of each record. We will take the input and using loop we will enter the records into the table. So how to pass this input to the query? That is nothing but parameterized query. And in the program we understood whenever we design the query, it is in the form of string. So if we want to format the string, we will be using the concept of formatting the string. For formatting, 2 options we can use. First the old style with the % symbol and the new style with the format function. If you already know how to format the string, you will easily understand this. Wherever you want to place the string, for that you will be writing %s, and the name of the variable we mention in the form of tuple followed by the % symbol. The same logic we are going to apply here also. So look at one simple query. Insert into product values. There are 3 values we need to provide. So we are writing 3 times %s. After completing the quotes, we need to provide the variable name. Don't forget to write the % symbol. So here is PID, PName and price. The values will get replaced at the place where we have mentioned %s. In this way, with these values, one record will get inserted into the table. Why we are doing all this? Because we need to insert many records. So we will be taking the input and providing the variable name with the loop. Then we can insert many records into the table. So this is how it will look like. You are taking the input and passing the variable name. With that concept, you can write any query. Here is the update query and here is the delete query. If there is only one value, you can skip these brackets. Now let's understand the another way of formatting, that is nothing but using format function. This also you will easily understand if you would have used it for formatting of the string. This function is associated with the string. So this is nothing but our string. Then using dot apply this method format. In this case, wherever you want to replace this value, you will be writing one placeholder. That placeholder is indicated by the curly brackets. It means what? 101 will get replaced here. Look at the query now. Select star from product where PID equals to 101. If that value you are taking in a variable, write the variable name. So use format method of the string and write the placeholder. Then with that concept, you can write any query. Here is update query, insert query as well as delete. Wherever you want to replace the value, write the placeholder. Note one thing, wherever there is a string value, you will be enclosing that placeholder in the single quote or in the double quote. But always to write query, use triple quotes to avoid complications. Placeholders can be anywhere. Look at this update query. Update product, set price equals to this and PID equals to this. So the first value always will get replaced at the first placeholder and the second value will get replaced at the second placeholder. Order and the sequence you need to maintain. Hope you understood the whole logic of creating the connection between MySQL and Python. Thank you so much for watching this video. That was all about database management. In case of any doubt, let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's keep growing together. In the next video, we will do something really exciting. We will cover the entire portion in one video. Fascinating, isn't it? So stay positive and believe you can do it. See you in the next video.